So we can't start talking about macromolecules without first covering hydrogen bonds. Hydrogen bonds are only attractions between polar molecules. Because of that, they are really weak, unlike covalent bonds. Covalent bonds, on the other hand, are chemical bonds formed between nonmetals. In these bonds, electrons are shared.
Oh, so carbon is an element used in almost all biological molecules. Carbon atoms can form up to 4 covalent bonds with other atoms. These covalent bonds form several important organic compounds. Alright, monomers are identical or almost identical compounds that are building blocks of polymers. These units are bound together by covalent bonds.
Macromolecules are large molecules that are made up of smaller organic molecules. Macromolecules are split up into 4 major categories: carbohydrates, lipids, proteins, and amino acids.
Carbohydrates are made up of 1 carbon, 1 hydrogen, and 2 oxygens. The functions of carbohydrates is to store energy in a short term and to provide structural support.
Monosaccharides are simple sugars and are the monomers of carbohydrates. This means that they make up carbohydrates.
Alright, so we're moving along. Glucose are monosaccharides that plays one of the many roles as an energy source for animal, plants, living things, and etc. Alright, so ATP, which is known as adenosine triphosphate, is a nucleotide. Adenosine triphosphate is made up of an adenine base, ribose sugar, and there are 3 phosphate groups. ATP is found in all cells of several types of organisms.
Lipids are macromolecules made mostly out of carbon and hydrogen atoms. They make up fats, oils, and waxes. Their primary function is to store long-term energy. Lipids are hydrophobic, which means that they do not dissolve in water. This allows lipids to serve as barriers in biological membranes.
So, fatty acids are made of saturated fats, which can also be known as triglycerides, that only contain one singular bond. Fats are made of saturated fatty acids and they are firm at room temperature.
Proteins are compounds made up of smaller carbon compounds called amino acids. Proteins do most of the work in a cell. They are necessary for a cell's structure, function, and regulation of the body's tissues and organs.
Alright, so we know now that amino acids are made of proteins, but what are amino acids? Amino acids are monomers of proteins and made of carbon, nitrogen, hydrogen. It can also be made up of sulfur, but not occasionally. The general structure of amino acids are they have a central carbon, an amino group, a carboxyl group, a variable R group, and amino acids are held together by peptide bonds. But what are peptide bonds?
Peptide bonds are a type of chemical bond between 2 molecules. These bonds hold amino acids together.
Nucleic acids are hard macromolecules that sort and transmit a genetic material and are made of carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, phosphorus, and hydrogen atoms, known as nucleotides.
There are 6 major nucleotides which all have 3 basic units. One of them is ribose sugar, which is a monosaccharide. A nitrogenous base is a molecule that contains nitrogen and has the chemical properties of a base. A phosphate group is a phosphorus atom bonded to 4 oxygen atoms.
Alright, so there are 2 types of nucleic acids found in plants, animals, and living things. One of them being DNA, and the other one being RNA.